costume department, people talk about the big showy pieces that everyone sees the costumes, like a period drama, where it could take them, you know, we have makers, wonderful makers here, lovely lady Tara, and they will make a prototype, a twill, in sort of looser fabrics, a bit cheaper. They'll try it on the actor and then they will make the original piece. Now, like one maker, if you were to make a full period costume, might take like 6 weeks to make 2 costumes, because they might need to make a second one just in case something happens. Or they might also have the original beautiful and then they get into a fight, or they could end up getting drowned in the water, so they'll have to make a worn one. But everything that comes into the theatre has to be broken down in some way. They call it breakdown. And so even a brand new shirt, and even if the actor is wearing a new shirt, it still has a glare that they'll have to wash it and bring it through a process to make sure it doesn't reflect light. So everything from clothes that look new, to worn items, to things that are as ragged and as worn as a pair of shoes like this, you know. So there is a lady, Sandra, here who wrecks everything. That's our wonderful job, is to wreck everything that our lovely designers and makers make. But you can see some of the things, like these wire brushes they use, like they even might have to wear goggles just in case. There's like pieces chipping off, graters, a whole load of materials that will help break down objects to make them look a little bit worn or totally worn. And then I'll show you a little coat down here. The play that I'm sorry that you couldn't see, and some of you have seen, is by Marina Carr. And Marina Carr is an exquisite writer. She is amazing. Like her dialogue, and she often brings out female lead roles, and she had a premiere here called I Girl a few years ago, with a wonderful actress in her 60s called Alwyn Ferreira. And Alwyn, she was almost naked, but she was a warrior. There's part of the show that nearly brings people from Neolithic times, like Neanderthal. She captures heroines of history, but she was wearing a suit of armour, just a little top, and obviously metal. So the makers here have to think about making a fabric that looks a way, but is really breathable, movable. And so they like, if you look, and you can have a little feel of it, they had to sew on these small little pieces to make that sense of a fabric that looks like armour. It's just to give you the mastery of craft that people have here and the lengths they go to. There was a show just recently and they made a pair of trousers for an actor, and they asked him to put them on, and they're a bit tight, and to do his most animated piece, jump over a chair. And he was like, I don't want to jump over a chair, the trousers are going to rip. They said, no, we want them to rip. We want to see where the weaknesses are, and if you need to put it in a gusset, they love the word gusset, a little piece that gives you a bit more room. So they like to see where the weaknesses are to reinforce them, so that when they make the proper one, it works. Now, what you can have a little look at some of the objects here. Lots of shoes. Got a little sneak peek in at the knickers and bras of, you know, even for every period piece, like whether it's 1980s, they actually start with the undergarments of the time. So you are completely authentic. You're not just going with your own underwear. You're building a silhouette that looks like that time. So you can have a little sneak peek. I might get some people to hold doors, and you can have a little sneak peek.